He asked me how my home was decorated, and they decorated it, made it look just like home.
I'm sure that was their inspiration. They're like, how could we really make this sweet iconic?
Yeah, we're
Let's
gonna
reach
make it.
out to Jason Poole for decor design. I'm sure
Oh
you're
my
on
god,
Lisa's like speed dial.
I am, I am. Lisa and I are BFFs. Good morning, Mr. Mills.
Okay, there we go. They're all uploaded now. Oh, Jason, we need to make sure we're on Do Not
I
Disturb.
just did that. Yep.
And then take your lock off your comments. Hi,
Yeah.
Pam. Hi,
Good
Janine.
morning. Good morning.
So, yeah, last night I talked to you, and then I woke up after sleeping for 5 hours. I was up for an hour, and then I slept from 1 till 8 o'clock when my alarm went off. Like, I probably could still sleep another few
Yeah.
hours. I'm actually getting like a massage later today because I just kind of like feel like I need to work that just out of my body and life.
Brian has a good point. He goes, after this week's travel debacle, this should be a cocktail meeting.
It should have been.
Well,
Oh,
Haley did see me make my espresso this morning. I poured a little something in it this morning, Brian. So
hear no evil, see no evil, speak
yeah,
no
I
evil.
was like it's my staycation. I could put a little something in the espresso.
Wendy, thank you for the award.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Wendy.
Pam, Alaska. Jason and I were just talking about this. Typically speaking, like if you read online, people say that going west is supposed to be easier, like going to Alaska, Hawaii, California is supposed to be easier than like going to Europe. And I strongly
I
disagree.
disagree. And like when I go to Europe, I'm tired that first day. I typically don't sleep well on planes, but then I stay up as late as I can, go to bed, wake up, and I'm good to go.
Yeah,
Coming home,
if
oh
I get to Europe in the morning, I will maybe do like a 1 hour afternoon nap, like a quick
yeah,
little like,
yeah,
all right, let's keep myself awake so I can flip, and then it's normal.
right. I agree. But like when we went to Hawaii, I never adjusted.
Yeah. I don't think I ever did, and I mean, granted, my body was just like,
Yeah, no, I like going. I think going east is easier than going west for time, but that's just me.
that's how the cookie crumbles.
Uh, yes, Pam. It's a little spice, a little spice.
A little spice and everything nice.
Yes,
Oh my goodness. Oh
well,
no, it's the top of the hour, Jason.
it is top of the hour. Good morning, everybody. It is 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central Time. That means it is time for our Tuesday talk show, Today in Travel, where we bring you all the news and travel, the good, the bad, the fair, the balanced, the unafraid. Today, some of the news isn't that great, but hey, that's why we are here. I am Jason Poole with Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative. I'm coming from you live from the beautiful island of Tennessee. I should be in Santorini right now, but hey, that's okay.
Shouldn't we all be in Santorini
We should
right now?
all be in Santorini right now. It feels like I'm in the middle of the water because the hurricane is over Tennessee right now, and it is torrential downpour. But enough about the weather. Across from me, my co-host in our weekly endeavors, Miss Haley. Good morning.
Good morning. Very jet lagged, but my name is Haley. I own a hotel sales support service company called Hospitality with Flair, and I'm a travel blogger and avid traveler of all forms, be it Disney, cruising, Europe land trips, you name it. I love it, even the jet lag that comes with it. So, Jason,
Absolutely.
the news is not the greatest, but we're gonna talk about a couple things.
We
First
are.
up is I was in Alaska last week.
Oh, okay.
So this is a great, I think, funny story because you and I have talked about it. So I was supposed to be on the Celebrity Summit right now, and that didn't happen. So I was like, gosh, what can I do? I couldn't really squeeze in any other summit sailings with Olivia going back to school. I hemmed and I hawed. And I saw that the Ovation out of Seattle still had a great price. I was like, do you know what? I did Alaska when I was 16. The price is right. I wasn't necessarily itching to go because I'm like a spoiled brat. I've been before. Um, and I've kind of made the joke to you. It's like, oh, trees, more trees. And honestly, I had a wonderful time. I think I appreciated the scenery a lot more. I mean, that water is just such a beautiful color. And I think overall I'm not one of those people that's going to be doing like extensive land packages and stuff like that in Alaska,
Sure.
but sailing with that scenery is just breathtaking, to the point where we're going to talk about potential group stuff. We've talked about it in the group,
Yeah.
where I could see myself doing a cruise only there, again, just for that scenery and experience. And it was nice to like be on a cruise in the summer and not sweat to death. So I think
I
there's something to be said for that. I will tell you, every single little tourist place in those ports, we're so happy to see travelers coming back. you know it was all this thank you very much. I finally could come back to work at some of the restaurants. So it was a really, really great experience. I like that I got to take my daughter. I have a lot of content to go through, but it was a lot better than I anticipated. At first, I was worried because I'm like, oh my God, did I just settle for a cruise I don't want to do? And it definitely came out better than
good.
I anticipated. So I think this next slide is going to be my favorite slide in the world.
Oh, Jason messed up. Wow, I don't know. I didn't know we were doing this so early. Okay, so
You got to put spice in your coffee. I'm allowed to make this slide.
for those of you who saw my broadcast on, God, what day was that? Friday? I think it was Friday night.
Your
Um,
travel talk, I felt like, was as long as my cruise.
I have, as you guys know, I went on a slight rant against JFK. I placed much of the blame on JFK for my travel problems. Said I would never connect out of JFK for international flight. That I will always go through Atlanta. If you guys don't know Delta, if you're crossing the pond, you're pretty much JFK, Atlanta, occasionally Detroit. Like that's where you're going across the pond. Okay. And I was like, and this was all JFK's fault. Never, ever, ever again. I hate them. I hate New York. They're all rude. Like,
Well, I mean, that's not going to change.
like I went off. Okay. Haley says,
For the record, I waited because Jason needed to calm down.
I was actually pretty calm for this whole thing. Relatively speaking, I was pretty calm.
Okay, I waited till you got home.
Home. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. And then Haley, you said,
I actually don't think a good chunk of the blame lies with JFK, because the problem I had with your situation is your first go when you tried to leave Wednesday, right? It was Wednesday. Thursday, sorry. And there were mechanical issues with the plane, correct?
In Nashville, BNA. Yes.
Yeah, in BNA. And the gate agent said that you could either go home and come back tomorrow,
Right.
or fly to JFK that night, like kind of being like, oh, you could do this or that and really put it in your hand. I think you should have been advised to take the New York flight. Like, really, if that were me, I'd be like, look, I know you don't want to be out of, your house and stuff more than you need to, and
Right.
unpack for one night. If you can get to New York, you can truly get to anywhere. Because if you had taken that New York flight, they could have tried all day to get you out of JFK, even Newark. You
Right.
had a lot more options. And when you have somebody that's, upset that they're missing a flight, especially an international flight, there's not a lot of time to play with. You kind of have to help guide people through that. So I had a problem with that. Then, of course, mechanical issues happen. But the fact that the next day when you flew out and you guys were supposed to go into a holding pattern because you were even a little delayed getting out the next day too, weren't you? A pinch?
We were pretty much on time.
Okay.
We were pretty much on
But
time. Yeah.
I mean, holding patterns and stuff like that can happen very
It can
frequently in New
happen.
York. It's like one of the biggest gateways to the States, like huge
Yeah.
air traffic.
Yep.
You didn't have enough gas to do a holding. What is going on with Delta's crew at BNA? The mechanical issues, the lack, and like we said, there's not a lot of ground crew right now. There's a lot of, I think a lot of the issues stem from BNA, not just from care of the planes, but personnel advising you.
So
That's my thought.
once I calmed down, I think you are right. I think I should have gone to New York. My issue was they didn't know how long the plane repair was going to take. So in my mind, I was thinking, I want to get to New York to get on the JFK Charles de Gaulle Athens flight. Okay. I never even thought about just get to New York, spend the night, and then I've got all day to get across the pond. So that was my mistake, if we're allowed to Monday morning quarterback, right? The odds of missing a JFK international connection 2 days in a row are next to zero, right? I mean,
Like, if
next.
you can't get you out of JFK, like you could like literally take a taxi and go to Newark.
Right. So once I calmed down, I mean, Haley and I, we discussed this yesterday. There's a flight I'm looking to do in October to Europe, and my best options are through JFK. And I think I'm gonna do it. I haven't thought about just flying. I thought about doing a multi-segment trip. Just BNA, JFK, spend the night. Second flight, JFK across the pond. Just like spend the night in New York. So I think you are right. I think you are. So Josh, great question. This is me being a little bougie. Atlanta was an option, but they had no Delta One seats, and I paid for an upgrade to Delta One. If Atlanta had had a Delta One option on Friday, I would have said rebook me BNA, ATL, ATH. But Delta One was sold out, and I paid for it. So I wanted the Delta One seat. So trust me, Josh, I was checking for a Delta One seat out of ATL nonstop. And look, in all things being equal, I will always pick Atlanta over JFK, always, because Atlanta's so close to me. Worst case, I can just drive. Like if my international connection on Thursday or Friday had been Atlanta, I'd have been like, I need my bags. I would have gone to Hertz, got a rental car, and just hit the road. I mean, I could be at ATL in 3-4 hours. So I would have been just booking it down the interstate.
Well, that's why, I mean, I fly out of New York, of course, super consistently to go across the pond somewhere, but like I can go drive to New York in like 4.5 hours. I could go drive to New York. And I mean, even if New York was being some crazy crap fest, I could somehow maybe even get a flight to Boston.
Right. And look, right. So lesson learned. And look, and Haley brought up a great point. There are about a third of the flights right now. So pre-COVID, JFK might have had way more options to get.
Just wait an hour. Just wait an hour. We got another one going.
Right. Just wait. So now.
I mean, because you could have had more options to use your travel insurance. Like you could have been like, okay, there's no more Delta flights. Do you know what? Put me on this American flight. Put me on this United flight. Send the difference to your travel insurance.
Trust me. I was on the phone with a good friend and a client of mine who used to work with AA, and we were trying to figure something out. Like I would have just bought the ticket, swiped the credit card for $5,000 to buy it that day, and been like, I'll just file an insurance claim later. Like, Yeah. But I will say Delta, I talked to them yesterday twice. They are taking complete care of me. They are making the situation completely whole. So kudos to Delta. They didn't pull the it was weather crap. They are doing the right thing. So kudos to Delta for keeping me loyal as a customer. So
Absolutely. So, as much as I love that slide, um, we're gonna move on to our agenda. So, same agenda as normal. Let's kick off with this first topic. We were talking about. This is part one.
it just buckle up, Buttercup. So the EU on Monday said recommended to its member countries, just a recommendation, not a requirement, that they place new travel restrictions for unvaccinated American travelers. Because of the rise of COVID cases in Europe, especially with the new Delta variant going on, the EU is saying they don't think anybody who has not received their vaccine should be able to come to Europe. So, like Greece, for example, like a lot of countries, you have two options to get to Greece. You can show your vaccine card to show you're fully vaccinated, or a negative COVID test within the last 72 hours, depends on the country. So the EU was saying no more unvaccinated Americans.
Keep in mind, they will slow through add slight caveats for children, but they have to be with two vaccinated adults. And even some countries will throw on, like Germany, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, even if they're traveling with vaccinated parents, kids have to quarantine for 5 days. I know that sounds like paradise to you, Jason, but
I gotta do a shot or something. This is awful. That's awful. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Now, so before we comment more on this, let's just go right to the next slide and we'll have a conversation.
I completely agree because this is going to tie in.
So yesterday, the EU is recommending halting non-essential travel from the United States. Not only for unvaccinated, just completely shut down non-essential travel to the EU. I personally do not think this is going to happen.
I agree. I don't see lockdowns being that much of a thing anymore. I see tightened up procedures. Like, do you know what? If you're not vaccinated,
right.
No?
You have to be vaccinated to come to the country. Right.
You have to be vaccinated to come to the country, or you have to be vaccinated and do a test before and after. Like, remember how Italy was like, originally you had to be vaccinated, you had to take a test 48 hours prior, you had to take a test when you got there. I could see more of that, but I don't see these countries, especially your Italy, your Greece, your France, that are very, very dependent on tourism dollars and are starting to get some of that trickle through revenue back.
Yeah, right.
It's not going to happen. I think just stricter guidelines.
Yep.
But pretty much everywhere in the world, we can't afford it anymore.
I agree.
Because these small places, especially in Europe, because there's so many boutique and individual properties, less chains, less this, they can't take another.
I agree. So I think you're right. I think we'll see you have to be vaccinated, and COVID test. Like, I wouldn't be surprised even if you're staying there for a week, if you get tested while you're there. They're finally seeing dollars from Americans over there. And I understand from a public health world why you would want to end this, but unless the governments of the world are literally willing to print money to continue helping these hotels, tour operators, restaurants, I'm just not sure that is ever going to happen again.
No, I completely agree. I think that gets to my point. This is going to be a little hot here, but like, I'm just so sick of all of us. And don't get me wrong, there's some people that can't get this. Like, we've said that, like, you're immunocompromised, da da da. But I'm so sick of everybody else being held hostage by people that are being ignorant about it. This
I agree.
vaccine, like, I'm sick of it.
So,
I'm so sick of it.
so one of my good colleagues, well, she's a cruise planner as well. We were talking last week, and she's decided she's no longer taking reservations from people who are not vaccinated. So
Yeah.
I haven't crossed that threshold yet, but I'll be honest, I haven't really faced it yet, right? Everybody who I've booked so far has been vaccinated, who can be. But that's been something as a travel advisor. It's like, do I want to deal with sending a client on a cruise, sending a client to Europe when they're not vaccinated? Because if they get it, like it's just so much risk. So I think a lot of travel advisors are going to start telling people who have not received their vaccines, you're on your own. Like, good luck.
And I think that's why so many of these places, like, you have employers, insurance companies that are really just starting to push the you need to be vaccinated to work here, get this service to like make people do it. Everybody's just sick of being held hostage.
Well, so we'll talk about that in 2 slides because we'll wait. So the next one is just a quick thing. The CDC continues to update its list about COVID hotspot countries. They added a few more countries to the list. The main tourist destinations here are going to be Puerto Rico, St. Lucia, and Switzerland. Those are kind of some main places. Now they're on, now that they went from level 3 to level 4, which is the very high. It's funny, every place they put on level 4, I've either been to or have planning to go to. It's like Greece, St. Martin, Mexico. It's like, so it's almost as if the level 4 list is where Jason is traveling.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then this one it's kind of surprising. So typically speaking, the governor of Hawaii has been so pro tourism because I mean
it's Hawaii.
It's life. It's that, and government business is what Hawaii thrives on.
Right.
And he's actually telling people, he did it at a news conference. He's like, push your vacations to October and November if you can. Like, pretty much everything short of shutting down. As much as I say that we're not going to really see shutdowns, I could see Hawaii going into a bit more of a lockdown.
So without getting political, I could see certain very blue major cities, your San Francisco, your Seattles, your New Yorks, your Hawaiis, doing some more lockdowns. I don't think, like the American South, where I live, and COVID is running rampant, and the kids aren't even allowed to like no one wears a mask here. Like, I'm the only person that wears a mask, right? So I do think there's a lot of politics involved in this, and I hate that this is for an after-hour show. I'm gonna move on.
No, I mean, this is fair. Ooh, Galveston Steve. Typically we don't go into comments too much, but he says he will have breaking news from Independence of the Seas immediately following this broadcast. So make sure you guys are following Galveston Steve. He's been doing some great broadcasts. It almost feels like normal again, like the good old days.
It does. Now, so before we move on from Hawaii, the island of Oahu announced yesterday that starting September 13th, you must show proof of your vaccine or a recent negative test, in order to eat at restaurants, drink at bars, or visit a number of establishments such as gyms, movie theaters, and museums. So I kind of think that's going to be the way. I mean, in New York, you already have like the Excelsior Pass up in New York.
Sure do.
on cruise ships, you're already seeing the like haves and the have-nots. You're not vaccinated, you have to go to these areas. But now everyone has to be vaccinated now. Because the cruise lines have basically told Governor DeSantis in Florida to like go away. Kind of shoot him away. So yeah. So
I've kind of been like eerily quiet on that front, actually.
So that's the news. It wasn't all great news, but you know what? We always bring you the news no matter what. So let's move along.
Yeah, so no update to the countries list this week. If you were on here a couple of weeks ago, there are some little changes that came up with like Italy, Germany, and France, depending on your vaccination status, to that no test required list. So, question of the day, speaking of Jason's tribulations here, how did you pick your favorite airline? For me, I used to, before I became a regional director of sales and marketing and now owning my own stuff, I used to fly a lot of Southwest.
Yep.
Free checked bags, and I cruised out of Florida, so a direct flight was nice. Once I became a regional director of sales and marketing, I was like, okay, I need to pick, I want to expand my travel too. I need to pick one of the legacy carriers.
Yep.
And figure out what works. I flew United twice and hated it. Just.
And what year?
Plane. So 2017 and early 2018.
Okay, because I do think United's a different product now.
Yes, I'll agree. But again, sometimes like that taste, and when you find something that's good.
Yep.
Flew American twice. It was okay. Like, didn't blow my mind, but it was okay. And then I flew Delta a couple times, and I just had a very pleasant experience, to the point where I ended up getting a Delta card.
Yep.
And the Delta card, after having it for 6 months, told me that if I completed 3 round trip flights in the next 3 or 4 months, which I had a couple work trips coming up,
sure,
that they would give me instant gold medallion status. So with Delta, you have your regular blue member, silver, gold, platinum, diamond medallion.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And the last one was a mileage run, because I had to. I was like, I need to do this. I don't care if I spend $200 to fly round trip to New York quickly. I'm going to do this. And once I hit that tier, it sold me on it. Like I get upgraded 80% of the time. Yep. I had the 75-pound weight limit for my checked bags, which is nice when I'm cruising, if I bring booze back or shoes. The fact that when I have a +1, they get the upgrade with me.
Right.
That's how I ended up falling in love with Delta. Like, it had the best flight options for me here out of New York. It just made sense for me. So that's my airline story. I do like JetBlue. Don't get me wrong. I like do really love JetBlue. They just don't fly enough places for me, and that's kind of where Delta kind of sold me, is they had such a broad map and some great partners for me to travel around the world.
So I'm a very similar story. So briefly, I used to do a lot of Southwest as well. Nashville is a Southwest city. We're a major hub in Nashville. So when I would do cruising out of Florida, I would just always do nonstop BNA to FLL. Southwest, easy 2-hour flights. It's easy peasy, right? But whenever I would do long haul flights, like across the pond, I would do Delta. And I'll be honest, Delta almost chose me versus me choosing Delta, because I had the American Express Platinum card. And I knew that you got access to the Sky Lounge, even if you're flying economy, with Delta. I was like, man, this is really nice. When I fly to Rome, I can get into the Sky Club. So I flew Delta across the pond a couple times, flew it to Hawaii, any kind of like long flight. I almost always pick Delta, but I liked chilling in the lounge. And I started realizing, like, wow, I'm actually getting some like MQMs here, some MQDs. Like, I'm kind of racking up some points. And then earlier this year, I just just hit status with Delta. Like I wasn't even chasing it. Like it just kind of happened. So I have decided that, and especially with this recent customer service experience, like with them helping me in the Sky Lounge, rebooking flights, giving me refunds and credits for future travel, like I am very loyal to Delta. When I got off in Nashville and my bag showed up, I was truly astonished. The bags were there. Astonished. Those bags had Amsterdam stickers on them, Athens stickers on them. Like it is a miracle they showed up in Nashville. A miracle. So I really like Delta. If you're an American Express Platinum member, they're Delta and Amex are like they're married because Delta's their credit card is also an American Express card as well. So I kind of picked them. I still think there are some situations where I would maybe fly Southwest. Like if I was cruising out of Fort Lauderdale and it was a cheap flight, I might just do the Southwest because Delta would make me go Nashville, Atlanta, Miami, and then Uber up to Fort Lauderdale. So that's how I picked mine.
Yeah, and just, the other thing with Delta too is like once you hit gold status, you get the medallion line to call in on, so you're not in the same wait queue.
Gold. I was supposed to hit gold. Supposed to hit gold this week.
I know. I'm $300 short of hitting platinum right now.
Yes.
It's killing me. But it's all those little things. And somebody in here commented and said that like upgrades on American Airlines are non-existent. And one of the things Jason and I realized the other day is it's actually a little easier to get status on American than it is Delta.
It is.
So I think that is a factor in that. Like my daughter just hit silver medallion.
Well, it's funny you say that because about upgrades, like I am just silver. I'm like very close to gold. Like I'll hit gold later this year with Delta. But I got free upgrade to first class to New York. So that was just I just opened the app and I was just in first class. I was in 1A. Like it was really nice. So yes. Yeah. My bag went to more play.
I love that though.
Is it time for another shot? Is it time? Well, this leads on right into our tip of the day, right? People are always asking, like, how do you afford to travel so much? How do you pay? Oh God, the flights are so outrageous. Guys, there are many, many ways for you to earn miles with your airline. For example, Delta.
It goes for hotels too.
Yes.
It goes for hotels sometimes too.
Like if you link your like Delta Sky Miles account with your Lyft account, every time you order a Lyft, you earn Sky Miles. When you rent a car with Hertz, you have a drop down option of where do you want to earn points for this rental car. You want to earn it with Hertz? Want to earn it with us? Or do you want to earn it with like American? Do you want to earn it with Southwest? Like they give you options as to where you want to earn points. So if you're not renting cars a lot, Hertz status or Hertz points mean nothing to you. But getting at a couple hundred extra Sky Miles with Delta could be more beneficial. So there are ways to earn extra. Your credit card might have a one-to-one relationship to move points over. So just check ways to earn free miles. And look, guys, it never hurts to ask. On Thursday, when my flight got delayed, I went to the Sky Club and was like, hey, can I get some Sky Miles for this? And the agent was like, how many do you want? And I gave her a number and she was like, done. Here you go. So I got a lot of free Sky Miles just for asking.
And sometimes you'll even get them for completing surveys too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So
maximize your points.
Maximize your points.
Community question of the day. Alex Kaufman, who I'm going to see this weekend. Any tips on how you can get a hassle-free COVID test? So I actually got a phone call about this yesterday. Somebody else is traveling with us this weekend. My recommendation is find an urgent care facility that lets you schedule them, do them up here in New York. I believe they're also in Ohio, Virginia and another state, we have this chain of urgent cares called Well Now, and they guarantee PCR results in 24 hours, and it's free with my insurance.
Okay.
So that's where we go. So tomorrow morning, we're going to go hop over and do the thing.
So that's a great question. So if you live in like Nashville, COVID tests are very difficult. Luckily, you don't have to have a COVID test to get to Greece. I took one just for personal peace of mind. I did it Tuesday afternoon. By my Thursday flight that got delayed to canceled, I still didn't have it. I ended up getting it Friday morning. So I printed it off and I had it in time from I thought I was going to Greece. But like I didn't have it. If I had to have it, I would have been scrambling. So
And it doesn't hurt to ask your provider though either, because when Olivia got sick from school, we knew it was a cold, but she had to have something to go back to
right.
school earlier in the spring this year. And her school nurse was like, if you actually take her to this place, which is, I literally called Jason from it. It's 20 minutes from my house. It's some middle of nowhere, like podunk, like doctor's office that, like, I can't even explain what it is, but it's literally in the middle of nowhere. And I got a call 5 hours later with her results.
That's amazing. That is
But
amazing.
she's like, yeah. I mean, like, ask your provider. Ask, I mean, this is the school nurse that gave me that tip.
Right.
And then there's a lot of home test options right now. Like Josh mentioned, some of the cruise
Right.
lines are doing the home thing. And if you're really concerned about it, there's companies, I know that she has for free, but if you're willing to pay a fee, there are some companies that will ship you a kit and give you overnight shipping to ship something back.
Yeah. It's
Guarantee your results. It's a little tricky, but we have found this urgent care chain has been really, really great, and we literally get them in 24 hours. So
I'm jealous. So, all right. Hope that helped. I don't know if that actually helped or not, but I hope it did.
we do have a question here, though. I think that could be very useful, Jason. In the future, would you try catching the ship at another port, or is that only an arrangement that's pre-planned?
No, I mean, so here's the deal. The next port for my cruise that I missed was Mykonos. Getting to JMK, looked it up, is very difficult. Okay. It's a lot of connections to get to Mykonos. Okay. I'm not sure I could even have made it to Mykonos by day 2. I am very fortunate that I've done many, many cruises. I literally just did this ship and itinerary 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, I guess. And I am probably going back to Europe in about a month. So I am very fortunate that I've traveled a lot. And look, my home life in Nashville is pretty awesome, right? I have a lot of fun living in downtown Nashville. So cruising to me isn't trying to escape a hellish life. It's just something fun to hang out with friends. And so I missed it. It stinks. I've travel insurance. It's just the way the cookie crumbled. So I was not about to add more stress in my life to try to get to Mykonos to make the next 6 days of a cruise. And I probably would have missed Mykonos. So that's why I didn't even try. I mean, if it had been like a transatlantic where I was going to be on it for 2 weeks, I might have put in a little bit more effort. But I'm fortunate enough that cruising isn't the only thing in my life.
Yeah. That's good to know, though. Journey with Josh mentions that Miami and Fort Lauderdale airports have testing. So does JFK. So you could always check an airport, but I know JFK is for a fee. Who's traveling this week? I realized I left Ken Jarvis off this list. Shame me later. But he didn't comment on the post.
And Rick and Cruise Life Rick.
They didn't comment on the post.
Oh,
that's why I put a post. I have enough going on in my life. So the Cruise Life Rick and Ken Jarvis are on the Celebrity Apex again in Greece. I'm heading out to the Miravilia Thursday night for a Friday 3-night sailing with a bunch of folks. Cruising with JT and JJ Cruiser on the Ovation. I handed that off to them. And then Galveston Steve has piping hot news on Independence of the Seas after this broadcast. So make sure you are following him. And then our last real slide today is group cruises. Jason, you heard that
Awesome.
5 night on the Scarlet Lady of a Celebrity Beyond, and you and I are working out details on an Alaskan group cruise. I'm pretty sure we're kind of leaning celebrity on this, and it's not just
Yeah.
because we both love it, but the value is just 10 times better.
When
Because by
when
the
you
time
get
you add everything in,
when you can get group rates with free drink packages, free Wi-Fi, free gratuities, I'm telling you, it's a great deal with what Celebrity has with their all inclusive pricing. It's great.
oh, it's real. I think the group pricing's really good that we've been getting. We are going to check, I think, a June date based on the post. We'll kind of check that out and then we'll make a decision. So make sure you are in the Today in Travel group on Facebook, todayintravel.live. Jason, before we get off this slide, let's talk about Scarlet Lady. I know you haven't really gotten much into that one, but
Yeah, so Virgin Voyages, that's they were the worst timing in the world launching a new cruise line, a new cruise ship right as COVID hit. So they now have two ships, Scarlet Lady and then the Valiant Lady. And Scarlet Lady right now is doing a summer soiree in the UK, only for UK residents. All the photos that I'm seeing from like Emma Cruises did it. This ship looks absolutely, I don't even know what's better than amazing. It looks fabulous. Like it just looks extravagant.
I know.
And
I'm so excited. I'm waiting for it to get over here because I plan on hopping on one of those first sailings. Like
yeah,
so I can
it
bring you all the
looks
latest and greatest, of
it looks
course.
fantastic. So I'm going in November, and it looks fantastic. It's adults only. Look, guys, it's not a traditional cruise line, right? I mean, they're doing things very differently. Okay, if
Okay, so are you
you
gonna
are
get
a
a tattoo on the onboard tattoo parlor?
I hope it's closed after midnight. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I hope it's closed after midnight. If you are look, if you're a prude, Virgin is not for
Oh
you. Okay,
no, do
like
not go on that ship.
it's very like
If you need a
risque.
more wholesome environment,
Yeah, Virgin is for they have no children and they plan events because they know there's no children. So I cannot wait to get on Virgin in November. But I'm doing a group cruise in February. It was going to be the Super Bowl cruise. They so rudely moved the Super Bowl back one week. So this is the Pro Bowl cruise. We're gonna watch the Pro Bowl on the Scarlet Lady. Pricing's really good with Virgin. Your basic drinks are included, your Wi-Fi is included, gratuities included, all workout classes are included. So, I mean,
and you got quite a few people on the sailing already.
I do. I think I have 20, 30-ish people on there. So it's going to be a
Yeah.
fun time trying something new, trying something different. If you know, we've done Super Bowl the last couple of years on Royal Caribbean. We've had a great time, but it's like, guys, how many 3-night cruises to Perfect Day Coco Cay can we do for Super Bowl? So let's try
Well, with
something.
everybody trying something a little different,
Yes,
I mean, we'll do some Royal Caribbean stuff here and there, but like I think it's just so important that we find new things to try and find the best value for
right,
everybody.
right.
I think that is such a big key. We did have a question, Celebrity Beyond December 11th. Is that a Caribbean itinerary?
It's a 7-night Caribbean cruise out of Florida. I don't remember if it was Eastern or Western. I picked it for no one does holiday decor better than Celebrity. Like the entire ship will be decorated for
It is.
Christmas.
It's so beautiful. I did a Thanksgiving sailing where then they like it was like poof at midnight. It was Christmas.
Oh,
And it's
they do
beautiful.
such a. I did the Celebrity Equinox a couple years ago, week before Christmas, and it was There were Christmas trees everywhere, garland. I mean, it was just beautiful. So if you love Christmas decor like I do, Celebrity Beyond, December 11th, 2022. I've got great group rates, drinks, Wi-Fi tips are included, and we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a good number of people on that sailing. It's Celebrity's brand new Edge class ship, and it looks spectacular. Cannot wait to go.
Oh, it does. It looks so good. Janine wants to know, is being on Virgin like being on the Quest game show, but the
I,
whole group?
I mean, I haven't been on it, but I think so. I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
I can't wait for Drag Purge. So, you guys, thank you so much. I know we went a little over today, but lots of good things to talk about. If you have questions about travel or you want to post some of your travel favorites, make sure you check out our group at todayintravel.live, or you can search Today in Travel. We actually just hit 500 members this week. So thank you guys. Make sure you share it. And then Jason and I are here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless there's really terrible internet wherever we are. But
Yes.
that's about it. And if you guys are interested in those group cruises, make sure you reach out to Jason. You can find him in the group or jason.poole@cruiseplanners.com. And we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye.